Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the first fortnightly session on Python 101, an introduction to Python programming, exclusively for students from class 5th to 12th, organized by the Knowledge and Awareness Mapping Platform. I, Aniket Arora, convener, CAMP, will moderate this session today. Today we have with us Mr. Jaspreet Tyagi, coding mentor, Mr. Ashish Kumar Mittal, project director of CAMP, Ms. Arika Mathur, product head, and of course, our amazing students who have joined us today. I welcome you all. Knowledge and Awareness Mapping Platform is an initiative and knowledge alliance of CSIR NISPA, National Institute of Science Communication and Policy Research, Ministry of Science and Technology, with industrial partner NCPL, NISA Communication Private Limited. In this immersive workshop, we embark on a journey to unravel the mysteries of one of the most versatile and widely used programming languages today, Python. Whether you are a complete novice or have some coding experience, Python's simplicity and readability make it an ideal language to learn and master. So let's delve into the exciting world of Python programming. I hope that all of you are ready with your laptops and have a good internet connection, and also make sure that the online compiler is ready with you. I will share a link for the compiler in the chat below so that you can access that easily. Okay, but before we proceed with today's session, I would like to announce that last week on the 14th of December, CAMP organized its 18th scientific excursion at the Central Electronics Engineering Research Institute, CERI, Pilani, Rajasthan, where more than 100 NASTA students visited and learned from various experts at CSIR lab. The students got a chance to attend lectures on Internet of Things, microwave, electronic radiation, microwave signals, as well as an extensive lecture on intellectual property, where the students were introduced to various concepts like patent, design registration, trademark, copyright, and the students were motivated to look for real life problems that they can solve and create innovative products themselves. If you would also like to participate in such excursions and get a chance to explore, discover, and engage with various scientific disciplines in a real world setting at various eminent CSR laboratories or research organizations in India, then check out the link below to learn more about how you can participate. For any support, you can get in touch with our team through the given helpline number in the chat below. Similarly, CAMP organizes teacher training programs at various CSIR labs with the purpose of empowering educators with a holistic approach to science education. It aims to equip teachers with the necessary knowledge, tools, and pedagogical strategies to not only enhance their own understanding of scientific concepts, but also ignite a passion for scientific inquiry within their students. Through active participation in this program, educators will acquire valuable insights into harnessing the power of visuals, hands-on activities, and technology to make science come alive in the classroom. By doing so, they'll be better prepared to foster critical thinking, curiosity, and problem-solving skills in their students. So creating an engaging and immersive learning environment that inspires the next generation of scientists and innovators. I would also like to mention that CAMP NASTA registered students can access to interesting podcasts, journals, and articles from CSIR and NISPA under their student login. So you can visit our website www.camp.res.in to learn more about CAMP. And finally, what we were waiting for today, coming back to today's sessions, we have once again with us Mr. Jaspreet Tyagi, who is a coding mentor, tech enthusiast, and author of a paper published at the Confluence IEEE conference. Now, without any delay, I would like to invite Mr. Jaspreet to help us explore the language through this exclusive hands-on workshop.
Thank you so much for the humble introduction. Hello, everyone. Those who already know me through the first webinar that I took, that was on the basics of Java. You know me. Otherwise, I am Tejasvi Tyagi and I'm just a student like you, but I am a third year student in college right now, pursuing my BTech in computer science with artificial intelligence. So I have been already introduced by Aniket, so no further like delay with the introduction part. We will head towards the basically the webinar. The link for the collaboratory file have been already shared, I guess, in the chat box. I would love to mention two things here. For those who have your laptops ready, thank you so much. I mean, it was the requirement. It is wonderful that you have already set up the laptop and have opened the collaboratory file. For those who are not having the laptops at the moment, don't worry. All you need to do is just concentrate on my screen instead and just try to understand the things there itself. Okay, so I don't think that there would be a lag in learning or anything like that. Moving ahead, I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible? Can someone confirm? Is my screen visible? Okay, wonderful. All right, then. The link for the collaboratory file have been shared in the chat box. If I can see, is there a link in the chat box? Okay, there's no link. No worries, I can share it instead. See, this is the link that you all need to open. It is a Google Collaboratory file link that will direct you to this page. Is this screen also visible to you? I mean, is my entire screen visible or a particular tab is visible? The entire screen is visible, right? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you will be directed to this page now. So over here, you can see you are getting an option of a new notebook. So you need to click on this particular button and you will be directed to a new collab file. And I mean, till the time it's loading, I would just like to explain what this Google Collaboratory is. So, okay, this is particularly the notebook in which we will be coding today. It is a product of Google, basically, the Google Collaboratory. Here, it is a notebook wherein you can write your Python code and execute it and get the output there itself. Unlike the case of Java, we went for an online compiler. Here we have, and we got the output in the terminal side. If I mean, for those who attended the workshop, we were getting the output on the terminal side and we were coding towards the left hand side of our compiler. Here we will be coding within the notebook and getting the output within the notebook itself. So it is a wonderful tool of Google. So you just keep this screen ready with you, and I'm just shifting my screen to the introductory part. Okay, so no need to worry about it. I'll be just switching the tabs, but what you have to do is open this tab with you. I'll be explaining how we'll be working on this in a while. Okay, so just starting with the workshop now. What is Python programming language? Okay, for those who are completely new to this or new to like the concept of a language in a computer, I would explain this by giving an example. Like, you need a particular language to interact with your friends, to share your ideas or to communicate with them, right? So just like that, you need a particular language to talk to the computer so that you can give a set of instructions and the computer can perform a particular task for you and give the output. So in this way, we are able to communicate with the computer. So here comes the concept of the computer languages or the programming languages. So Python is basically one of the programming language. We have already done a webinar on Java as a language. There are other languages like Go and Java, JavaScript, C++, etc. But today our webinar will be focused on the basics of Python as a programming language. Okay. So about Python, you all have a basic idea about Python. Maybe you are studying in your school for those who are in 11th and 12th standard, but those who are in 5th onwards, you might not have an idea about it. So Python is a versatile language. It is a high-level programming language. Now, what does we mean by, I mean, what do high-level programming language mean? It basically means that we can develop program and that are independent of the machine on which we are running it. Okay, so it can be run on anywhere. So this language is known for its readability and its simplicity. It is really simple as compared to the other languages, I would say, like Java, C++. It has relatively complex syntax. The other languages have relatively complex syntax. Here, the syntax is relatively very simple and easy to learn. So we can say the language is very beginner friendly. Okay, so it was created in 1991 by Boudou van Rousseau. So he was the creator. And this language is procedural, object-oriented, functional programming language, like any other programming language that helps you communicate with the computer. A major fun fact about Python programming language is that it is heavily equipped with wonderful libraries, I would say. Libraries, what does a library in computer does is that it basically, like the concept of library in our world is like it is a storage place of books where you have certain knowledge or database you have that is being stored in a particular place. That is a library. So just similar to that, library in computer means that it is basically a room or a storage for where you have certain set of instructions or certain modules that are pre-written and the database is already stored. So what you can do as a coder is that you can ask for a particular module and you can use it in the program, in your program. So this is just a concept of standard library. So Python has wonderful library. It has a wonderful database within. So Python is widely used for web development, data science, machine learning, automation, and it has various diverse applications. I would just see a chat for once. Wonderful. Okay, so I would love to like explain here how would we going with the 45 minutes long workshop. Here is that I will be teaching a particular section and then I will be heading towards the chat section and see if you have any doubts that can be cleared at the moment. Okay, so otherwise it will be very difficult for me to see the chat code and explain as well. So we will be going in this way. Okay, so since it is a very basic introduction, I can see that you have no particular doubts in the chat box. So I'm heading towards the features of Java. Again, features of Java, as I've already discussed, that it is very simple, it is readable, it has very clean syntax, it is beginner friendly, again, standard library. These are the basic things about Java. It is very easy to learn. It has robust framework and can be used for web development or like data science, machine learning, all the things, the AI related field, everything that you see that is being, the AI is already being in talks. So what language is the primary requisite for the AI application? It is Python only. So it is largely used. Okay, now we have a basic idea about what Python is. Okay, I skipped to the part that I've attached the icon of Python. So when we think of Python, a snake comes to our mind. It is like Python means snake. To a layman, if you say Python, he will think of snake. So here is the icon. That is the official like symbol for Python as a language. It is snake itself, but it is a language now for you. So Python is no more a snake to you. It is now a programming language. Okay. Okay, now let's quickly dive into the hands-on workshop. I will start with the first segment, a very easy segment for you to learn. That is the printing statements in Java. In Python. So I'll be switching my tab and going to the workspace. I've already written the codes here for you to understand better, but I will be implementing with you all. Okay. So let us just quickly look at this section, that is printing statements in Python. Now, what does it mean? It means that we are giving a particular line for the computer to print, and we want that line to be printed as an output. So what is the syntax for it? It is just, I would say that the syntax is so easy that if you would, it is very similar to how you communicate with your friend. You would say print, and within bracket, you will write semicolon and whatever statement you wish to print. Like take every chance is what we are planning to print. So we have written print, then we have applied bracket, then 2 semicolon, and we have written take every chance. Similarly, we want to print drop every fear, then we are similarly repeating the process. So for printing statements in Python, the syntax is print, bracket, and semicolons, and then you're writing the statements within. So here is one part, and the second example is here. Okay, and similarly the third example. But now I want you all to implement this once. So I'm just switching my tab here. Okay, I can see that you all have I mean, I believe that you all have opened your Colab by now. So we will be implementing our first program, that is printing statements in Python. Okay. So all you need to do is that implement the program that I'm writing. And if you're facing any query in that, I'll be addressing it towards the end of this section. Okay. So I'm just writing whatever I had written in this slide, and you have to repeat on your basically your computers. Okay. So we will be printing a very basic statement like print. Then I am applying brackets. Then I'm adding semicolons. Then I'm writing my name is Tejasvi. You will write your name instead, or you might write my name as well. But okay, after writing this statement, what you will do is that you will run this cell. Here is the button of running the code that you have written. So when we press on this, our compiler is basically working on it, and the code is getting executed. It might take a long for like the first. Okay. So we are getting the output. My name is Tejasvi. I request everyone to try this out with your name instead while I'm seeing the chat box. For those who are asking for the link, I am again pasting the link of Google Colab. While you open this link, you have to click on new notebook. Then you will be directed to this notebook basically. It worked. Wonderful. Similarly, for adding, like for the other codes that we will be writing, all you need to do is that you need to add a cell. Now, how we will be adding a cell in a Google Colab is that we will be clicking on this particular button that says insert a code cell below. So when we click on this, we will be inserting a new block here. So the new blocks is basically inserted. Now we can write anything here. I love coding. We are writing this, okay? Then we are again executing it, and we are getting the statement printed, I love coding. So this is very primary program of like coding. It worked, it worked, it worked. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So this worked for everyone. I see no errors in the chat box as of now. But the question comes here that what if I write print, like say ice cream here? What will be the output? Will it be printing anything? If I'm writing no output, no output. Okay. When I'm executing this, I'm getting an error. And why is that? No quotes again. Because I am getting an error here because the current statement that I have written within the brackets, it is no longer statement because I have not inserted quotation marks. So now the Python treats this particular word, I would say, as a variable here. Now here comes the concept of variables. Now I'm switching my tab again, but you need to just focus on my screen. See, when I print ice cream, I'm getting that I'm getting a name error which says that name ice cream is not defined. What does it mean? It basically means that ice cream is not a sentence because it is lacking the quotation marks. Then what is the ice cream for? Have you given, oh my God. If you're having any query, kindly write in the chat box. I'm seeing, okay, it is not a string. There's no quotation marks. It is a string. What is a string? If you're having any query, please post your questions within the chat box. Okay, no queries. No queries yet. Okay, so when I'm writing print ice cream, the ice cream is no longer treated as a string. So it will not be printed what I'm getting in return is a name error, which says that ice cream is not defined, which basically helps us see that ice cream should have a value instead, I mean, contained in it, that could have been printed. Now, here comes the concept of variables. Now, let us quickly come to this section of variable. I would love to mention here that this is a 45-minute long like exploring Python basic workshop. So it is practically impossible for me to teach each and everything, and it is practically impossible for you to understand each and everything within 45-minute span. So what I have planned is that I will be covering major topics and touching them and teaching you the basics of it. And if you wish to explore the language furthermore, I will be sharing with you the resources at the end of the workshop. Because see, these languages that we basically with which we basically code in computers is a very, very, very vast topic, and it requires a certain amount of dedication and efforts and time. So it can definitely not be covered within 45-minute span. But what I and you will be trying, we will be trying our best to understand the most that we can. Okay. So coming back to this section of variables, for those who are not having the access to the Colab link, kindly focus on my screen instead and try to understand here. Okay. So now what is a variable? Variable is a storage container. Okay, now I would love to explain this by giving a mathematical example. You all are above fifth class, right? I was told from 5th to 12th. So you all have done the concept of you know what is X in mathematics. It is a variable that you use to store a particular numerical value in it. Okay, so similar is the concept in computer as well. Okay, so variable is a storage container that helps you store a particular value in it. Okay, so here is a demonstration of what a variable can be in Java. Sorry, in Python. Oh my God. Actually, Java is my primary language, so I'm just used to saying Java. So age is the variable, and the value that we are storing in it is 25. So age is a variable, and we are allotting the 25 value to this variable age. Okay. So this is a variable. Just like in maths, you say, let x is equal to 25, let y is equal to 21. Then you do your calculations. Similar is the case. But here you can assume, you can allot the value as string as well. Like, for example, you can say name is equal to Aman within quotes. Name is equal to Aman. You are allotting Aman as a string to the name variable. We will be seeing the example further. But what are the rules of naming variables in Python? Now, here are certain rules that are followed. Firstly, is that variable name cannot be a Python keyword. What is a Python keyword? A Python keyword is basically a word in Python that already have a particular meaning assigned to it. For example, we saw in the first segment that print basically is a keyword for it, because it already is a command of printing a particular sentence. So you cannot use print or like something like that as your keyword. Okay. For example, for is a keyword in Python. You cannot use for as your variable name. Okay. The second is that variable name cannot contain spaces. Is that it should be one word. Variable should be one word long. So you cannot write name space is as your variable name. It should be name is without any space in between. First character must be a letter or an underscore. So the first letter of the variable, it should be a letter. First character should be a letter, or it can be an underscore. No numbers are allowed. Okay. The first character may use letters. After the first character, the letters, digits, and the underscores can be used. But the first character should strictly be a letter or an underscore. Okay. And the variable's name are case sensitive. That means if you have written age with small letters, everything is small letters. So, and you are referring it to as age in capital letter, it will not find it because you've already assigned small letter age a value. And now you are asking the program to find capital letter age. So you have not defined the value for capital letter age. So it will return an error. Okay. For those whose print statement is not working, kindly check. I'm just switching this tab here. Kindly check, have you inserted quotation marks? Have you inserted brackets properly? Is everything fine? Because this is very basic statement. It would, I mean, there must be a typo. It works well for everyone else. So I don't think there would be a syntactical error. It must have been a typo at your end. Okay, so storing numerical value as a variable. So here, like I've already discussed, like in maths, you say let x is equal to 2 and then you do something. So here, what we are doing is that x is a variable. We are assigning a value 2 to x and now we are printing x. Okay, so I would love to demonstrate it here. What I will do is that I will insert another code. You can do the same in your Colab file as well. What I will do is that I'm writing x is equal to 2. That means now my variable x has a value 2. And not now what I am doing is that I'm printing this x. So print x. Now will this print x generate a problem here? Because I have not mentioned any quotation marks or anything like that. So it should have given me, it should, no, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Because it is no longer a statement or anything like that, we have already defined a value for it. It is a variable now. Okay, so when I am printing this, it will give me 2 as the output. See, we are getting 2 as the output. So no error here. Similarly, for the case of, like I'll insert another name, I'll write name, then I'll say Aman. I've written name as Aman. Then I'm printing this name. So again, no error and Aman will be printed. Okay, I think we are clear so far. Similarly, variables can be used to store decimal value or float value as well. So it's just a repetitiveness of like the first cell itself, but I would love to do it again for you all for better understanding. See, I have now written x is equal to 2.32 and now I'm printing it. 2.32 will be printed. Okay, no rocket science, only we are just assigning variables certain values and printing the variables now. Okay. Now moving ahead, now here comes the interesting part. What actually do we mean by a term variable? Now, why am I addressing this basically x or name as variable? What does variable stands for? Chat, can you please reply? What does a variable stand for? What do you mean by variable? Why is it called variable? It stores information. Okay. Wonderful. Something that changes is variable. I'm not able to see your names, so I might like I cannot appreciate you for your answer by calling out your names because I can hardly see any names here. But you all have answered it correctly because the value is not fixed. That is why it is called variable. So, but abhi tak to you will say that ki, see, we are fixing the variable, we have assigned it name as Aman value, we are not changing it. Then why are you calling it variable? Okay, so it has the potential of being changed in the future. That is why I'm calling it variable. So let us say now we will be learning how to take input from the user and storing it in our variable. In that case, our variable is pakka se variable because the user will be entering different information every time. So our variable will be storing a different information every time. So that way our x will now be having a change in value, and that is why we will be now calling it as a variable. Now let us see how we can implement it. Okay, so let us say I have name as my variable and I assign a particular, I say name. Now what is the syntax of basically fetching a value from user is that input, you're asking for input, and then within this bracket, you can write anything that you want to be displayed on the screen while you want the user to enter something. Okay, so you can see while I'll run this code. As of now, just focus on the screen and just try to grasp the syntax, which is not at all difficult because we are just writing what we are thinking. Just for the like the case of printing statement. We thought of printing, we wrote print. Now we want input from the user. That's why we are writing input. Enter your name. Okay. And after that, we are printing name. Okay. So here we have the variable name. We are asking the user to input certain name, and we want, while the user is entering this name, we want the line to be written on the screen, enter your name. Okay, so I'm just running this cell and just focus on the screen. See how beautifully the output is running. You can see enter your name, and then comes a dialog box. And what you need to do is like, you need to enter your name here. When you enter your name and press enter, the Tejas will be printed, or whatever name you have written. So what does this program basically does is that, again, name is a variable. It fetches for input from the user. You wrote an input, press and enter. The next statement get executed, that is printing your name, whatever you have written. So the Tejas gets printed. Okay, is my screen hanging or is it okay for all? I can see someone is saying that my screen is hanging. Okay, it's fine. Wonderful. So I'm just giving you 1 minute. I want you to implement this program in your Colab files, because it is a really interesting program, because you are fetching the input from the user. In the meanwhile, I'm rerunning this code for myself to change the value and show that this is a variable. Name is actually a variable now. I will be entering, let's say, Sarah now, and then again pressing enter. Now Sarah is printed. See, the variable has now a change in value within. So up to name is pakka se variable. I'm just giving you 1 minute. At 35, I'll see if you have any doubts or is it I'm having problem. Oh, link. Link again for those who are asking. Oh, I'm not writing anything. For those who don't have a monitor, no need to worry. Just focus on my screen, and I will be sharing my Colab file link with you all as a viewable link. Or what I can do is that I can share it here itself as a viewable link. So you can just go through it. You can open it in your phone and see side by side. I was not writing anything. My screen is not freezed. Okay. So here in the chat box, okay. So now I will be like, I guess you all have done it, right? It worked. Wonderful. I will again be inserting another code block here. Okay, now, so the next part of the program is like, we will be now taking two variables from the input. And Isbana, what we'll do is that we'll change our printing statement also a bit to make it more informative. And that will basically answer query of a particular person who was saying, ki, will this program work or not? So, I mean, this is basically a answer to your question as well as the next concept that I wish to teach. Okay, so input, name, enter your name. This fetches us the name of the user. Then we are saying age. Then we are saying input, enter your age. Now, how many variables do we have? Oops. Now we have two variables, name and age. Thank you so much for being so active on the chat box. It feels like I'm actually teaching. Okay, so what now we will do, we will be doing is that we'll be printing this, but now in a slightly changed manner. Now what we will be doing is that I will be writing hi, then I'll be saying comma, name, comma, your age is, comma, age. Now, what is this? Why is this sounding so confusing to you? I've not done anything extra here. What I've done is that I've just taken two variables instead of one. And now what major changes I've done is in this program is with the print statement. Now, what is this print statement says? It says that hi, comma, name, that is a variable, comma, your age is, comma, again, age. Now, what does this do? I'll love to run it once and then show. Let's say now our name is Soham. Then I entered. Then I'm writing, let's say 15 years old. Then I'm again writing. See, now what is being printed here? Hi Soham, your age is 15. Now why did this statement basically got printed? Oh my God. Someone is on the chat box raising a query. Yes, I'm coming to the point. See, our name is basically a variable now. So if you want a variable to be printed along with the statement, what is the syntax for it? The syntax for it is that you first need to write whatever statement you wish to write within semicolon again. But whenever you're writing a variable now, you need to separate it from the statement with the help of a colon or a semicolon within. So you have separated it with a semicolon. Then you're writing your variable name. But again, you wish to write a further statement. So you again semicolon and then you are writing it and then again a variable. So basically, when you are writing variables along with statement, how you're going to print it is that you need to separate the variables from your statement with the semicolon. Why is that? Because your variables will be changing their value. Can you please tell it in Hindi? What? Why you need to insert a semicolon? Okay. Okay, I can do it. Like, if no one has any problem with that, just to answer your query, see, हमारे पास दो variables है. We have name as a variable. Sorry, हमारे पास एक name variable है जिसमें हम अपना basically जो हम user से नाम लेना चाहते हैं हमने वो नाम ले लिया and we are storing it in name. उसके बाद हमारे पास एज वेरिएबल है, हमने एज में ले लिया एज और उसके बाद हमने वो एज में स्टोर कर दिया. अब हमें ऐसा प्रिंट करना है, क्या प्रिंट करना है? हमें करना है हाई, जो भी यूजर ने नाम दिया है वो अलॉन्ग विद योर एज इज आगे एज यूजर की, हम ये चाहते हैं. तो हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू डू दिस? हम ये कैसे करेंगे? द सिंटैक्स सेज दैट कि अगर आपको स्टेटमेंट्स प्रिंट करनी है अलॉन्ग विद वेरिएबल, व्हाट यू नीड टू डू इज, आपको क्या करना है? पहले आपको स्टेटमेंट लिखनी है विद इन सेमीकोलंस, विद इन कोटेशन मार्क्स, फिर आपको सेमीकोलन लगाना है, कॉमा, उसके बाद आपको अपना वेरिएबल लिखना है. फिर आपको अगर आगे और स्टेटमेंट लिखनी है, जब भी आपको बेसिकली स्टेटमेंट लिखनी है और वेरिएबल लिखना है ना, तो यू नीड टू सेपरेट इट. आप दोनों को अलग करना पड़ेगा. किससे? कॉमा से. तो कॉमा से वो अलग हो जाएगा और फिर आपका स्टेटमेंट प्रिंट हो जाएगा जैसे आप चाहते हो. तो यहीं पे हमने यही करा है कि हम ये चाहते थे, दिस वाज अ स्टेटमेंट, दिस वाज अ स्टेटमेंट, बट यहाँ पे वी हैड वेरिएबल्स नेम एंड एज. तो हमने इसको सेपरेट करना है अपने स्टेटमेंट से, तो हमने कॉमा से इसको सेपरेट कर दिया. ओके, वंडरफुल. Can we make a form in Python like we do in JavaScript and in HTML? See, the concept of forms can be created in Python as well. We have a particular database for it, but here that I can create a form. I can again make use of various variables here. I can take entry from the user. Then after taking the input from the user, I can store the values by using certain database. I should have a database to store that values as well. For example, if you just to address this query, I'm taking 1 minute. For the case of HTML and JavaScript, you need to have like a PHP database or anything like that to store your values. For example, in the case of Python here, you need to have a SQL connectivity either for your database for it to be stored. But now you can always create a form like this. See, this was also a form that we created. Where was it? Your name is Sarah, your age is this. this basically output what we got was in a form of a form basically. Okay, so moving back to our topic, we have covered this. Now, okay, we are heading towards our first program, and I want you to implement this. What the program says is that what you are going to do is that you are going to take two variables, that is number 1, number 2. You are going to take two inputs from the user, and what you need to print is that the sum of basically the two variables. For a hint, I would say that the symbol for adding two numbers in Python is similar to what you do in maths, that is the plus symbol. It is same. So for those who wish to like do it themselves, I'm just writing my code here, and you write your code on your, okay, wonderful. And you write your code on your screen, and at the end of, like, when you finish writing it, you can just match it with my code. Okay, so let's see who all can do them by themselves. And for those who don't have their laptops, you can focus on my screen. And I won't be like saying anything. My mic is not freeze. I'm just being quiet for those who are trying to attempt themselves. Okay. So our program is about adding two numbers. Just now, I just realized that I basically skipped the typecasting section. Then how are you going to add it? Because I've not discussed that. So just quickly move your attention to my screen first. Let this be a discussive program instead, and I'll give you another question. Okay. So just shift your focus back to my screen. Everyone who was trying to attempt by themselves, if you still feel that you can do it yourself, please go ahead. But I really wish to teach you the concept of typecasting first. It won't take more than a minute. Just shift your focus here. Oh my God, there is an error in the chat box. I will be addressing it in a minute while I'm finished teaching this typecasting part. Okay, so when we are taking a variable and asking for a value from the user, the default data type is basically what is the category of data that we are fetching. Ki, is it integer? Is it string? या वो क्या है? किस type का है? So by default, a variable, when we are executing it in this form, it converts the variable into a string only. So, for example, your user enter 5 here, it will not be treated as an integer. Instead, it will be treated as 5, but as a string. Okay. So here, when you will be adding num1 and num2 na, you will not be getting like the sum of the two numbers. See, I would love to explain it by running this code. I'm writing, for example, 6 here as my first number. Okay. The first number that I've entered is 6. Now I'm pressing enter. Now it asks me for the second number. I've entered 4, then again pressed enter. It is returning me 64. But what should be the actual output of the program? It should be 10. Wonderful. But we are not getting 10. Then what is the issue? हमने तो अच्छे से program लिखा है. We have already written input and everything works fine without any error. So why are we getting this wrong output? This is because basically the variable here, whatever we are writing now, it is being fetched as a string instead of a variable. Instead of an integer. But for adding two numbers, we want the strings to be treated as numbers, not strings. When we are adding num1 and num2 as strings, what it is actually doing is that it is concatenating. मतलब एक दूसरे की तरफ चिपका दिए बस दो numbers. But we don't want them to happen. We actually want it to be added. So हम क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे? What we'll do is that we'll typecast it. Typecast means we are forcefully changing the data type of the input or whatever value that we have. For example, the num is now having string as a number, but as a string. So what we'll do is that we'll write int and within which we have written num1. Int within which we have written num1. Okay. So इससे what we are getting the idea is that हमने ना what we did is that हमने जबरदस्ती इसको पकड़ के integer बना दिया. This is the concept. And we want that to happen. इसलिए we did that. We have typecasted it. Actually, it was string. But our motive was to gain the sum. So we want two numbers to be added, not the strings to be concatenated like this. Now, if I again run this program, let us see. If I wrote again 6, then I've written 4. Wonderful. 10 is the output. You can take a minute to grasp this concept while I'm just going through the chat box. I can see many of you were answering my questions in the chat box. I'm really sorry I cannot just see and teach at the moment, but I'm really proud of you all that you have understood it and have been answering all my questions here. Thank you so much. I agree that we need to use float here. I agree with you. But just for the case of simplicity, for everyone to understand, because I know that there are students from 5th standard as well and all. So I'm just sticking to integer here. It's wonderful if you know that float will be used here. Okay. I hope that you all have written this code and been running this on your compiler without any error. Okay. So this was the program. Now you can do the similar program like for multiplication, subtraction, division, and whatever. And for those who don't know, the symbol for addition is plus, again same. For subtraction is minus, again same. But for multiplication in computers, what is the symbol? It is asterisk or star. Star is the symbol for multiplying two numbers. But for division, it is again similar to what we write in mathematics. Okay. So these are the symbols: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So if someone wishes to write a program of multiplying two numbers, what you can do is that you just need to change the symbol and write a star asterisk instead, and it will work fine. Okay. Coming back to the main screen. Can already feel a shortage of time. See, this is how interesting the language is, that you never get a hold of time. It is already 4:51, and abhi I have a list of topics to teach. Let us see how we can cover this. Coming to the next section. Oh, why is this not working? Okay. So coming to the next section is that, see now, I want for this particular section, I want you to just see my screen instead and focus here. And we will see if we have the time to write the codes. Okay. So the next segment is if and else block. Now, if and else block, again, very similar to how we say that in English. If means agar, else means varna. So if means अगर मतलब अगर ये चीज सही है, then do this, वरना ये कर दो. This is what the if and else block in Python is about. Okay. So let's say if we look at the very first program, it says that we are checking whether the person is allowed to vote or not. So what is the eligibility criteria of voting? That a person should be greater than or equal to 18 years old. So what we do here is that we have age as a variable. Here we are treating it as a static variable. That is, we are not changing the value. We have assigned it the value to be 21 here. Now what we are doing is that we are writing the if else block here. We say agar, if agar ye cheez sahi hai, God. If whatever I've written within this bracket is true, implement this part. Else, varna, implement this part. As simple as that. As simple as that. If age is greater than equal to 18, print you are eligible to vote. Else, print you are not eligible to vote. These are the two blocks that we have. So when I will be running this code, I have age as 21. So the output should have been you are eligible to vote. So when I'm running this, I'm getting you are eligible to vote as the output. Why? Because as soon as my program runs, see, I've again rerun it for you, and the output is still the same. You are eligible to vote. Why? Because we have age as a variable, and then the next line gets executed. It checks whether age is greater than 18. Yes, 21 is greater than 18. That is why print you are eligible to vote. So what we get from this code? Basically, the program runs this line, the else block, only and only if the if block fails, right? Otherwise, the program does not see this and gets terminated here itself. क्योंकि how we comprehend this in Hindi is that अगर ये तो ये कर दो, वरना ये करो. अब वो वरना वाली स्टेट अगर अचीव ही नहीं हो रही है, तो the program will not be working on that part, क्योंकि हमारा अगर से काम चल गया. See, now again an example here. Age. Now, but now here we are taking age input from the user itself, and we are converting it to, and we are typecasting it to int here itself. Okay, so what we are doing is that enter your age, the user enters the age, it checks. If 4 is greater than equal to 18, then print you are eligible to vote. Else print you are not eligible to vote. Here, the program runs, checks कि क्या 4 is greater than equal to 18, which is false. इसलिए it skips to the else block and prints you are not eligible to vote. And we are getting you are not eligible to vote. So this is about the if and else block. Equal to what? How do we type? Okay, the symbols about greater than. See, this is greater than symbol. This is greater than, this particular symbol is greater than, very similar to what we do in mathematics. So this is greater than symbol, and equal to says greater than equal to symbol. Similarly, if you have to like check whether a particular variable is equal to a particular number, instead of just saying age equal to 18, you will be saying age equal to 18, which says that check whether these two quantities are equal or not. For example, if I say that instead of having greater than equal to 18, if I want to check whether a person is equal to 18 years old, so what I'll do is I'll say equal to and run this program, and I'll change it here as well. You are 18, I'm saying. You are not 18. Okay. So when this, I need to rerun it. When I'm running it, I'm writing, let's say 18 here, and just printing enter. You are 18. Okay. So this program is now basically implementing the program of checking whether the input entered by the user is equal to 18 or not. So instead of just writing age is equal to 18, we are writing age is equal to 18. And why is that? Because equal to is a basically comparing operator, and equal to is an assignment operator. By what we mean assignment, that we are assigning a particular value to the variable. But here we don't want to assign a particular value to the variable. Rather, we want to compare it with a particular integer. Key, whatever input that I have, is it equal to 18? So what we'll do is that we'll write equal to. Okay, so I guess I answered your query. Is it same as in Java? Yes, very simple, but the syntax is different. Ma'am, can you do it slowly? What part did I just rush? Can you please explain? I'll just love to explain it again. Okay, see, I will be sharing my Google Colab notebook with you all. So after this webinar ends, you can execute each and every code with on your PC, at your own pace. Okay. So this was the idea of just basically touching the topic so that you can get an idea about how the things are. And after this webinar, you can take this notebook. I'll be sharing the link and just basically have a look at how we discuss the things in the class, and you can rerun it on your own Colab at your own pace. Okay. I will be sharing this link after this webinar. Okay. So the basic idea of what I planned or I wish to cover in this webinar is still left. I'm still left with for loop and the types of storage data. So let's just take 2 more minutes on for loop. And after that, I can share with you the storage data and you can do it on your own. Okay. So for the for loop, now what do you mean by loops? What is loops used for? In computer languages, loops are basically used for doing a repetitive task again and again. For example, I told you to draw a particular butterfly. Okay. So you are just drawing it and drawing it, drawing it. And at the particular time you get bored और आपकी accuracy भी चली गई है. समझ रहे हो? So in that case, here, see, it is a very vague example, I know, but at the moment, nothing is coming to my mind. So for loop, what for loop does is that it basically helps you perform a particular task again and again and again until you have mentioned ki kitni baar it basically have to do a particular task. Okay. So it repeats a particular set of instructions or line of code. Now, what is the syntax for in for loop in Python is that you write for, see, this is the syntax, basic syntax. For I in range, you mention a start number integer and an ending integer. And this loop will run from 1 to not 11 to 10 instead, because it runs from start to end -1. Okay, this is basically an inbuilt feature within Python that it basically the range function, it runs from the start integer to the end -1. So here, if I am writing for I in range 1 to 11, what it is doing is that it is running I, that is a variable, in the range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 till it reaches end. So if I'm just indenting it and printing it I again and again, what will be printed is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be printed. Similarly, you can print a table of 2 also in that similar fashion. But instead of just printing I'm writing here. See, again, the use case of that particular concept that I taught, that is statement, comma, write your variable, comma, write your statement again, and whatever operation or you wish to do. So similarly, it got printed. You can go through the Google Colab file if you're facing any errors, and I'll be sharing the resources as well. It is 5.1, I guess. Do we still have time, Aniket?
How much
Or we
time
need
will
to
you be
run?
needing?
I guess 10 more minutes to finish.
I'm sure it's okay. I think because we have to take question and answer also. That would take
So,
another 15 minutes.
so should we wrap it up then?
I think you can take just 5 more minutes.
Okay,
maybe.
I'll just give overview then instead in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because the thing is that we'll be sharing the recording as well with the students, so they can
Okay.
watch it again, and you'll be sharing this link also. So in
Yeah.
their own time, they can watch the video again and try connecting it themselves.
Okay, wonderful. Then I'm just giving you an overview of the ways to store data in Python. Now you can just focus on my screen instead, just stop implementing things. We are just discussing the concept now, okay? So there can be various ways of storing data in Python. One of the primary ways storing it in variable, which we have already seen. But in variable, what issue we are facing that key variable can hold only one particular data at a time. For example, our name variable can only store number, like for example, Aman. It is not storing Aman, Naman, or multiple names simultaneously. So if we are actually in real world, have lots and lots of data. So how are we going to store it in variables? No, I don't think so that it is an effective way of storing large amount of data, because in that case, you will be requiring lots and lots of variables that will be acquiring a lot and lot of space. And that brings down the efficiency of program. So instead, we have different types of or ways of storing data in Python. Now, the three, is there anyone speaking? Okay, so now the three important storing ways are first lists, second tuples, and third dictionaries. Okay, I will be just giving you an overview of each. See, focus on the screen. What are Python lists? Python lists are basically, it is a storage container where you are storing multiple things within square brackets. This syntax of list says that my list, this is the name of your list. Then you are saying equal to, then you have square brackets, and then you are storing multiple entries within, separated by comma. See, apple, banana, cherry. So this is your list, which is now storing multiple entries. And then if you print my list, your whole list will be printing with multiple entries here. Okay. So the question comes here now, why only square brackets? See, square brackets, you cannot fight on like the syntax part of this. Basically, syntax part have been already been pre-assigned within the Python libraries. So this is how the things work. Okay, that is already being created by the creator, that is Guido van Rooshoy. He was the creator of Python. He basically decided to use square brackets to basically assign the lists. So we are using square brackets here. Similarly, for tuples, we are using rounded brackets. And for dictionary, we are using curly brackets. So this is the syntax of how a particular language works. Okay, so this is the case for Python. So for list, for storing these elements, we are using square brackets, and then we are writing these entries separated by comma, and then we can print it. So here, we are storing multiple values within one variable, you can say. But this one variable is now not a ordinary variable, it is list. Okay, some properties of list in Python are that it is ordered, it is changeable. You can change the values within, and it also allows duplicate elements. Now, what do we mean by changeable? Changeable means that if, for example, as of now, I'm writing apple, banana, cherry. Now, in the future, I wish to write apple, banana, guava instead of cherry. So I can do that in lists. And how to basically access each element in Python list is that, see, if I give you a list of numbers, list of elements like this, how will you be numbering them? You will be numbering that this is the first element, this is the second element, this is the third element, simply like that. But in computers, how do you number things is that the indexing starts from 0 instead of 1. Okay. Okay, the indexing starts from 0 instead of 1. So this is your 0th element now. This is your first element. This is your second element. So if you wish to access your, for example, apple, what you'll write is that you'll write my list, then again square bracket, direct to 0th element. Here is the visual of what I'm talking about. For example, this is your list. Ignore the upper, this is the negative indexing, and this is the positive indexing. Let's say for now we are just focusing on the positive indexing. Just look at this bar, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a list containing 6 elements. The 0th element is foo. The first element is bar. Second element is bars, and so on. Okay. So if we now wish to access the first element of this list, how we will do this is, we will write my list, then again square bracket, go to the 0th index element, and then again close bracket and print it. So foo will be printed. Okay, this is just basic. Similarly, if you wish to change a particular element, for example, I was talking about cherry. So how you can do is that my list, then again square bracket, go to my second index pe jo bhi element hai that, and change it to tree. Now you are just अब ऐसा लिखने से where did you land? You basically are now pointing towards my list का the element that was actually at second index, and now you are assigning it a new value tree. So your list will now be changing, and you will be writing, see, in the original list, you can see here, at second place, bars was written. See, second index, bars was written. Now what we did was, where is it? Now what we did was, we got to the my list, access the second element and change it to tree. And now we are again printing the list. So what is printed? Foo bar, not bars. Tree is now printed. So lists are changeable. Okay. Now tuples. What is tuple? Tuple is very similar to lists, very much similar. But what actually tuple is that? What is a drawback or advantage? Anything you can say? It is that the tuple elements are not changeable. You cannot change any element like that we abhi discussed, that we are accessing the second element, changing into a different element. This cannot be done in tuples. Tuple is represented by round brackets, unlike lists that are represented by square brackets. And you can just simply print my tuple as this. See, here we are trying to change the 0th element of tuple. This says that go to my tuple and go to the 0th index element, that is apple, and change it to red and print my tuple now. But here I am getting an error. It is not changing any element. And why is that? Because tuples cannot be changed. This is a feature of tuple. Okay. So then the third and the last Python storing way is dictionary. Dictionary is very useful way of storing elements. It has wonderful real life implementations, I would say. See, here is a dictionary in Python. The syntax for dictionary is that here it is represented by curly brackets, and it has key that is mapped with a particular value. For example, you can see here in the diagram, this particular dictionary that you are seeing, 1 is a key that is being mapped to Python. 2 is a key that is being mapped to C++. 3 is a key that is being mapped to Java. Now, what does it mean is that if I basically ask, now I no longer need to worry about indexing. What I need to worry about is that key, whether a particular key is present in my dictionary or not. Okay, so this can be understood with the help of examples. See, here I have created a dictionary. For example, I'm creating a dictionary where this is a key and this is a value. Similarly, this is a key, this is a value, separated by this. Okay, so here I have brand Ford, model Mustang, and year I have 1964. And then I'm printing my dictionary. See, I have printed my dictionary here. So these are the dictionary that contains these elements as key and their mapped value. Okay. So when I say print my dictionary, then I say go to model, what will be printed? This particular block, what does it does? Is basically what it does is that it goes to my dictionary, it searches for model as a key. So here we have 3 keys, brand, model, year. It goes to model, and then it asks model, what is the value stored in you, which is actually Mustang. So what will be printed? Mustang will be printed. So this is a way of accessing elements through keys. Then there are further functions attached to it. You can just look at this Python collab file and can explore it. I have attached the resources here itself also. I've given the links. You can just look at it. I guess I've just given you an overview of whatever I wish to teach today. So can I just stop my screen sharing now?
Yeah, sure. It's okay. We can stop. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tejasvi. I think because we have less time, we can straight away move on to the question and answers.
Okay.
So this is for the students. If you have any question, please raise your hand and make sure that your video is turned on. We'll select you one by one and you can directly ask your question. And I think we'll take 5-10 minutes for the question and answer. And in case if some question, there are plenty of questions. So if students, if your question hasn't been answered, you can email to us directly. You can either connect with me or you can connect with Tejasvi directly. And it would be great if you can watch the video and try yourself and compile your questions all together and directly mail us. Okay, so we'll start with the question and answer. So first of all, we have from, okay, Kanish, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello, can you create radio buttons or use other form elements as here in actual forms? Or can you use here in Pythons?
No, see, the concept of radio button and everything like that, what you were, I mean, was it you in the chat box who were asking about the HTML implementation
Yes,
and the,
yes.
okay. Okay, so see, the concept of radio button and like the forms that you see or the checkboxes even, that is explicitly the case of HTML, CSS and the JavaScript. Okay, so that is basically web development. So what is the language that we use in web development is JavaScript, HTML. So these are basically certain features that are specific to those language. You can just try to like imitate a bit in Python, but utni functionality nahi aati hai. So that radio button that you are talking about is basically being dedicated to HTML only. So it has like no direct relation with Python as a language because Python as a language is used for data science, machine learning. So wo wale areas pe it focuses.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
We think we can move on to Parth Gupta. Can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello, Ankit, Aniket sir and Tejasvi ma'am. And first of all, I like the program so much. I was willing to learn Python but I never joined any webinar and all. And this was my first. So I had a question about lists and variables. To store more data in the variables, we used lists, but can't we do that directly on the variables?
Okay, wonderful question. See, when we are actually implementing this basically coding in real life now, like if you're working on a very heavy software or anything like that, you don't have, you don't have a limited amount of data. You have millions and trillions of data. So it really becomes difficult. आप कितने variables बनाओगे? Millions and trillions. As a coder, if I assign you a task of like creating or let's say adding 2000 or trillions of data that is being provided to you, will you be making trillions of variables manually? And if not manually, अगर आप loop भी चलाते हो तो see the variables या आप जो भी data type बनाते हो ना, it occupies a certain amount of space. And what effective coding is about कि आपका time भी कम लगना चाहिए for program execution, है ना? ताकि आपके कोड शुड बी वेरी फास्ट, बहुत जल्दी आपको एग्जीक्यूशन करके आउटपुट मिलना चाहिए. एंड विद दैट योर स्पेस यूज शुड आल्सो बी लेस. सो इफ यू आर यूजिंग लाइक मल्टीपल वेरिएबल्स, आप सोचो कि आप हर वेरिएबल जब आप बना रहे हो, यू आर असाइनिंग अ डिफरेंट स्पेस टू इट, तो कितनी ज्यादा वो स्पेस ले रहा है फालतू की. इफ यू कैन स्टोर ऑल द वेरिएबल्स इन अ लिस्ट, तो दैट वाज द यूज केस ऑफ लिस्ट.
And if we need to create another list or another tuple, so how would we make another of those?
Another of those what?
If I created one list, my list, and I stored my data here, but
Hmm.
if I need another list for my another work, how can I create another one?
By assigning a new variable name to it. You can assign it now list is equal to, then again square bracket, assign whatever value you wish to do.
It just need to have list in its name.
No. That was just a variable name which I gave. You can assign it Parth. You can have Parth as a list name as well. You can just write Parth, then again assignment operator equal to square bracket is the identifier for list.
Oh, I was confused in the identification. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you, Parth. Okay, we have Paki Srivastava. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I had a question that I sent it to you in the chat box that this was the code that I put. A is equal to 23, B is equal to 25, and then C is equal to A plus B inside a bracket, and I put print C. So I didn't use that integer, I mean the int for, so it still worked. So
Yes, it still worked because see, I missed your question at the chat box, so I might not have seen it. But see, what the code that you have mentioning here is that A is equal to 23 or 25, whatever. Say A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3. Let's say this is the example that we are considering. Now A is equal to 2. You are explicitly giving 2 is an integer, na? 2 is an integer. you're assigning A the value 2, which means that you are basically now saying that A को value दे दो, the integer value explicitly. आप user से तो नहीं मांग रहे ना. When you're asking it from the user na, that basically concept I was talking about, that it basically interprets it as a string. But otherwise, if you're just hard coding it, like A is equal to 2, it treats it as an integer only, and the code will work well.
Okay, so instead of putting that int before num1 and num2, I can also do int bracket input and
Yes. In that case, as soon as the user enters a number, it will be converted into an integer. Both the ways are acceptable.
all right. And I had one more question that
Okay.
I saw on your screen, each line of code was like numbered, and on my screen it wasn't
Okay.
sure.
It was a setting, like go to settings, you can see settings and indentation, or maybe add line code. Basically it is, I've changed it in order to make you understand better.
I saw in QBasic the line numbers actually matter if you want to.
Yes, you can just go to how to add line numbers in Google Colab on like Google, and you can change the settings of your Colab file.
All right. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Yeah, we have the next question from Dhwanik.
Ma'am, what is the sign for dividing?
Very similar to what you write in maths, that is slash. So you're in which class?
Ma'am, 5th.
Yeah, I know. So in 5th, you might be writing this sign, that is dot line, and then
Ma'am.
again a dot. Yes. So, but as soon as you grow older, sign for division becomes slash instead. So a slash, backslash is the sign of division.
And ma'am, you told us the code of voting. Can you tell me again? My computer was not processing it.
Okay. So like if else block, are you talking about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm writing the code in the chat box, okay, for you. Let us see. I mean, this might help others as well who were not able to understand before. See the chat box once. I've just now posted a code, the similar code that I have in my Colab file. Oh my God, please, 1 minute, ke somebody don't write any query. Okay, so you can see age is equal to 21. Here I have a variable age. Vanik, are you following me? Age is the variable, and you have assigned it 21 value. Okay. So 21 is the value being assigned to your variable age. Now, if else block, what it does is that it is the agar ya varna wala block that I have told. Okay. Agar, what I have mentioned within the brackets of the if statement, if it is true, what the program does is that it will execute the function or like the statement, whatever is written within this if blocks. That is, you can vote. Varna, if the whatever is written above is false, it will skip to the else part and write you cannot vote. So what happened there was that when I wrote age is equal to 21, it checked that whether the age is greater than or equal to 18. Is 21 greater than or equal to 18? Yes, it is true. That is why it entered the F block and wrote you can vote as the output. And it never reached the else block. क्योंकि हमारा अगर वाला स्टेटमेंट ट्रू हो गया. अगर एज 21 is greater than or equal to 18, you can print you can vote. वरना go to this, but वो वरना कभी reach नहीं हुआ. Got it?
Ma'am, can you share a link so that I can watch that video again?
Yes. It will be shared on the platform. And apart from it, I will also be sharing the link of my Google Colab file. You can just go through the code along with the output for better understanding.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tejasvi, for this wonderful session. I'm sure, like, irrespective of the time, it was a wonderful session that even in so much small time that you covered almost basic concepts so that the students, it build a platform for the students, a base that they can build upon. They understood all the concepts and they can build upon in the future. If they want to pursue Python as coding, they want to pursue it in the career in future, or just as fun, I think they can even play games with it, I'm sure.
Yes, it is always wonderful to teach here. I get so much good and positive energy from the children when they are just buzzing the chat box with queries or just raising hands. It is just lovely to teach.
Thank you
I've
so much.
also shared a viewable link in the chat box for those who wish to save it. You can save it from here as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Tejasvi. I would like to extend my a heartfelt thank you from my entire team. And this is, I think, the second time that you've been. Last time we had a workshop on Java, and this is on Python. Thank you so much for this exclusive hands-on workshop for the students. And it's quite visible that the students have enjoyed it. I still see, a lot of hands raised for the questions.
Yes.
So to the students, if you have your question wasn't answered, I'd like to say that you can write your question and you can drop. I'll just write my email address in the chat box. You can write to me at aniket@camp.rds.in. And we'll answer your questions. I'll compile all the questions for you with Tejasvi, and whenever you get time, you can reply to
Okay.
us and we can share it with the students.
Yes,
Or in
wonderful.
case if you'd like to share your email address to the students, that can also be possible.
Email address, I would love to share my LinkedIn profile instead. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or anything like that, if that works.
Mhm.
So should I write it on the chat
Yeah,
box?
so you can leave it in the chat box. So students, you can connect with Tejasvi on her LinkedIn profile. If you have any query or you want any help regarding Python or even Java. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I would like to mention again that to know more about CAMP's upcoming scientific excursion and how to participate in them, please check out the link in the chat below. Don't miss out this opportunity to visit various prestigious labs and organizations like CSIR, ISRO, DRDO, and many others. So let's just, before we wrap up, how many of you enjoyed today's workshop? Can we have a big round of applause for Tejasvi? See, Tejasvi, we still have an
Wonderful,
active audience
wonderful.
even after
Yes,
1 hour,
I'm seeing
1.5
this.
hour long session.
I'm really sorry for extending the session. It is
That's
just
okay.
that the last time when I came here, I wasn't able to complete whatever I've planned for. And then again, it was happening. So I thought I can just touch as much as I can.
Okay, so I'd like to share with you that on 4th of January at 4 p.m., we will be having our 42nd online knowledge sharing session on From Awareness to Action. This will be a workshop on POCSO and child rights by Ms. Deepa Rafi, who is a lawyer and corporate trainer. In this workshop, you will get to understand the fundamental rights of every child, which is very important in any era. If you have any further questions or need additional support, feel free to reach out at any of our social media handles or helpline numbers. We are here to assist you on your path to success. Thank you for your active participation and dedication to your professional and personal growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. So I have one last message for the students that we'd love to hear your feedback so we can keep improving our content. Please fill out this quick workshop feedback form and let us know your thoughts. And I can assure you that these answers will be anonymous. And we would also appreciate if you could share a small testimonial video describing how this knowledge session by CAMP helped you. You can either upload the video to your social media handle or you can tag us and you can directly share the video with us and we'll post it directly on our social media handle. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I'd just like to end the session.
Okay.
Thank you, Tejasvi.
Thank you so much, Aniket.